And thank you for choosing the AM show again today. We appreciate you. What are we serving today? School principals are worried about the spate of indiscipline in schools in Ghana, and they believe it has everything to do with corporal punishment being outlawed in schools. They're essentially saying sparing the rod is spoiling the children. And so they concluded after their 59th annual conference in the Upper East region that there needs to be another look at the current policy. They complain about the plethora of acts of indiscipline students have been engaged in recent years.
From breaking common school rules, students are now involved in use of hard drugs, pushing down school fence walls, and engage in physical fight with implements like knives and cutlasses, inflicting serious cuts on themselves.
So this morning we ask if Charles has a point and whether it's about time the policy on corporal punishment is reviewed. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers, as well, whether you're a parent or a student. Then the semi-final of the National Science and Maths Quiz is happening today. Which of the 9 schools will make it into the final? We have St. Peter's SHS going against Chemu SHS and Presec Legon in the first contest. And then we have Keta SHTS, Wesley Girls High School, and Tamale SHS going against themselves in the second contest. And then KNUST, SHS Prempeh College, and Opokuwari will be in the third contest. Which of them is going through? And the contest start right after the AM show. We'll also be speaking with some of the sponsors on the show today. Then Roverman Productions is a new play being staged this weekend, and they'll be here to tell us all about it when IB comes in with Showbiz. I'm Israeli, and I host the show with a Nimwe Nimado with a band she's refusing to talk about. Good morning, and welcome once again to the show.
My name is LORD-MENSAH, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to myjoyonline/podcast. Search for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Good morning and welcome to the AM News here on the AM Show. Our very first story this morning, the Coalition of Civil Society Organizations for Local Government Reforms in Ghana is asking government to abandon the idea of superintending the election of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives on partisan lines. The group, which has renewed the push for the election of MMDCEs, argue that the current administrative structure as a local assembly is fraught with significant challenges, which is impacting negatively on the developmental growth at the local level. Insisting the election of the CEOs for the assembly would largely address the challenges. President Akufo-Addo in 2019 truncated the process for the election of local authorities, citing a lack of consensus. But a member of the CSO coalition, Kofi Bento, addressing the media, observed that government must first prioritize the election of MMDCEs before introducing their election on partisan lines.
All right, so let us get this clear. There is overwhelming support for this. At the point where we were going to effect those things, the current government introduced a second phase. That phase is not necessary for the local government reforms. It is additional. And that second phase is to have it done on a partisan basis. So let me explain. We can today ask our parliamentarians to amend the constitution, and we will elect DCEs from tomorrow. That is what the overwhelming number of Ghanaians want. Both NDC and MPP want. We have not heard any dissent to that, and that can be done. At a point where we're going to do it, a tertiary level, a different phase, another, ultimate goal was added to it, which is to say, let's do it on a partisan basis. Why I'm stressing this point is this: it is not necessary to have partisan elections for us to have local government elections. So it is not exactly accurate to say there was a breakdown in consensus. The breakdown was that it was not necessary. Let us not complicate it. Now, sometimes we elevate a footnote and make it the keynote. That small footnote of whether to make it partisan or not, okay, became the keynote. And on that basis, the whole thing was scuttled. We are back here today to emphasize the substantive point, which we all agree on. And that is that we must have local government reforms to the effect of electing local government officials, DCs, MCs, and the like. And that much as we will desire, or some of us will desire, that it be done on a partisan basis, we think that we should first have the elections done, have people into office chosen by the people, and then later on, if we want to, we can add the icing on the cake, which is to make it partisan or not.
Now, following the overflow of a water body that produced a massive gully in the middle of the connection road, their town was shut off for months. Residents of ADUOMI in Ashanti's KWAME East District, particularly final year JHS students, were transported across the stream in the bucket of a bulldozer in a viral video. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko engaged leaders in the Kente weaving town on attempts to find a temporary solution to the problem, and now reports.
Is where you see in a video that has gone viral, where you see a bulldozer ferrying people in its bucket from one point to the other. The town here is called ADUOMI, and just ahead of me is Bonyure, the Kente weaving town, and the rest of Adwosu and its environs. The stream you see here is called Momoshe, and this is the point dividing the two towns and the rest of Ashanti region. Now, the problem is that there is no bridge over the stream Momoshe at the moment. And so when it rains, the stream overflows its banks, and gradually it created a huge gully here where you saw the bulldozer ferrying people across. And so the entire town of ADUOMI was cut off just about 3 days ago. The people came together because help was not coming from the local assembly and the central government. They decided to solve their own problem temporarily. They were levied from 500 Ghana cedis down to 50 Ghana cedis. And now they've been able to solve it temporarily, fill up the area, and they were able to put in a small pipe to soak the water from one end to the other end. Let me take you through what has been done to serve as a bridge. This small running pipe is now serving as a bridge, transporting the people from one side of ADUOMI towards town. Now, this is the temporary solution, one that the community itself have contributed funds to build.
Our car always gets stuck here. So the chief of the community suggested that we contributed to fix it. Even the round pipe we used is too small. We asked for the biggest one, and they said it's 25,000. So we couldn't afford it.
The leveling of the gully and insertion of a small running pipe to serve as a bridge cost residents 15,200 cedis. Eric Boachi-Yadom is the assembly member for the ADUOMI electoral area.
We didn't really bill people, but the chief and the people of the community helped. The cash at hand was 7,000, but we spent 15,200 after completion.
So about 7,000. 15,200.
ADUOMI, close to Bonyure, relies on local tourism and the sale of hand-woven kente for revenue. The bad roads leading in and out of here is a disincentive.
If the bridge is not fixed, we will still get back to zero. I plead with the government to come to our aid.
DC for Kwabre East, Osei Esibe Bunsu, says contract has been awarded for the construction of the road, but could not tell when work will begin.
It calls for a bigger solution from central government. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Adangomase, Ashanti region.
Now, some households in the OWUSU municipality of the Ashanti region are converting their toilet facilities into bedrooms for rent. This has gotten the Municipal Assembly to activate a bylaw which stipulates a fine of 1,200 cedis or a 6-month jail term for people caught engaging in this illegal act. There's more in this report.
The OWUSU Municipal Chief Executive, Elijah Adanse-Bona, is worried the action of the people is not helping in fighting the sanitation problem. About 14,000 people in the OWUSU municipality are caught engaging in open defecation. In commemoration of World Toilet Day, the municipality organized a Durbar to create awareness and also to address the sanitation crisis in the OWUSU municipality. Speaking at the event, Mr. Adanse-Bona expressed optimism the OWUSU area will be free from open defecation.
We decided to come to the central market, interact with our people, educate them. Those who don't have toilets in their houses would do it after maybe this event. So it is significant. We want OWUSU to be one of the open defecation free municipalities in Ghana. When my coordinating director was talking, he mentioned that we've begun construction of concrete drains. Now people have started squatting on the drains, easing into the drains, and that is very bad. Those who don't have toilets in their houses, that is where the challenge is. That is why we need to sit down with them, with the engineers, if they can create something within the house for them. They think there's no space, but for space, if you want it, you can create it.
The theme for this year's celebration is Stop Open Defecation, Own a Household Latrine Now. Let's play our part in this COVID-19 era. The Municipal Environmental Officer, Mrs. Moro Fusena, said the percentage of people owning a latrine in the municipality will increase next year.
From January going, we will be going around. When we come and you convert your bath or toilet into a sleeping room, we will take you to court. Every house is supposed to have a toilet. Now, we are not even saying like a compound house with 10 rooms shouldn't have one toilet. I can assure you that next year, if we are alive, and before we come back for World Toilet Day, you see the numbers increasing, because that next year, that will be my target. If I don't send at all, I will send over 3,000 people to court because they have no toilet in their houses.
So far, about 25 people who do not have toilets in their houses have been dragged to court. Bilkis Mohammed's report read to you.
Now, the owners of an apartment serving as the Ashanti Regional Office of the New Patriotic Party at KWAME in Kumasi are up against party leaders for failing to address rent issues. The landlady, together with her children and other relatives, on Monday stormed the regional office to disrupt an ongoing press conference on the same issue. Regional Communications Director Kwesi Chase says lawyers of both parties will soon address the rent impasse. Prince Appiah reports.
Last Friday, the aggrieved family disrupted a TESCON meeting at the party office, claiming the NPP defaulted payment of 3 years' rent. The TESCON members left the office following the bizarre scene created by the family. The family returned on Monday When some NPP members were addressing the press on the same issue, some aggrieved family members spoke to the media.
Chama wuti mi akwatira radio so say ya be pa na chew. Say o ma ye maami baby ntina. Na da no eni wo ye nua da ne na e de dan na ma na da ne se ne dia.
Chairman Wontumi said on radio that we begged him to give our mother a place to stay. This facility belongs to us. We do not have any idea about the terms of agreement. Here is the will. Read it. We were already told that monies had been paid to a relative of ours. If someone breaches an agreement, we have every right to take back our building. This premises is unkempt. The building is not properly maintained. We are taking back our building.
Simple as that.
Meanwhile, NPP Regional Director of Communications, Kwesi Chey, says lawyers of both parties will meet to address the issues amicably.
Oh, is idea no yet lawyer na wujina woman name and lawyer wujina yensu ya name.
The lawyers who stood in both parties' defense will surely come out with their statement.
Statement. Na etimia kati bibi short. I think that is how it's going to be. In Yansa Ubekasa Wabontene.
Prince Apia reporting.
And that's it for the news for this morning. But the AM show continues, and coming up next is the newspaper review with Israel Laye and myself. Don't go anywhere. Hello there, and you're so welcome to the AM show. If you're just tuning in, we've been here for a while, but happy that you could join us. And we're about to get into the newspapers, but let me introduce you my very handsome, very sexy grandpa, Israel Laye, who I'll be doing this with, who supports Hearts of Oak, unfortunately, and has completely given up, because yesterday he was comparing Hearts of Oak to Arsenal. So moment of self-realization there, you know, absolutely fantastic when you just know that you're supporting a losing team. Israel has come so far in his life, and this morning we're so grateful for how far God has brought you. Good morning, my love. How are you?
Good morning, Grandma.
Well, okay, it's fine. I mean, I'm sure if grandmas looked like me, they would be very happy.
And if grandpas look like me,
then they would be very old. And apparently you went to school in Nana Konedu. It was Eko who said that you were in high school with Nana Konedu. So much respect for you this
That's fine. If I was in school with Nana Konedu and I looked this good, then it means, yeah.
But who said you look good? What sort of self-promotion is this morning?
Well, you said it.
Oh, I didn't. Anyway, so are you going to start or moi?
Okay, let me start today.
Okay.
So on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, jailbreak by 3 murder suspects at Dabala. And the police hunt for 2 escapees, recapture 3rd fugitive. The story is on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. There are 3 men who were remanded in police custody for murder at Dabala police station near Sogakofa in the Volta region, escaped from the cell on Saturday through a hole they created in the wall of the cell. One of them has been recaptured, while a manhunt is underway for the other 2. And still on page 3, there's another story, 2 other stories. Man kills brother, flees with wife and children. So a gun-wielding man shot and killed a brother at Juali, a farming community near Wulensi in the Nanumba South District of the Northern Region. The Nanumba South District Police Commander, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Yusufu Salifu, who confirmed the story in an interview with Ghanaian Times yesterday, said the incident occurred on Monday. He said Bawa allegedly shot and killed at close range the brother who was on his way to farm. Oh, no. And then man gets 9 months for indecently assaulting girl 6. And still on page 3, 399 road crashes claim 33 lives in the Volta region. And there's the photograph of the Chief Superintendent de la Porte, who's the Volta Regional Commander of the Motor Transport and Traffic Unit. Okay, moving on to other stories. CSOs for local government reforms advocate election of MMDCs, which we had a bit of that in the news, in the AM news. Ex-ruler Jammeh ignores president's campaign warning. Political declaration signed in Sudan after month-long crisis, and Kenyan police investigate BBC workers' death. And then in some more foreign news, Haiti kidnappers released 2 missionary hostages, and UN ignored plea for Beirut blast probe evidence. And 5 dead after a car drives into Wisconsin parade. I'm sure you caught that bit of news where some guy in a red SUV just plowed into a Christmas parade in the U.S. state of Wisconsin. Then desist from using pupils for private activities, NAT warns members. I'm sure it's coming on the back of the incident where the headmaster sent some children across a river to his farm, and a number of them drowned. Life-threatening diabetes can be prevented through early detection. And police-public collaboration, panacea for prevention, crime prevention. Togbe Hodo, therefore, advises Ghanaians to learn and speak French. Yeah, that's very good advice. And also, still in the front, in the Ghanaian Times, take holistic, comprehensive approaches to addressing youth employment. That's ACHU. Are you saying the majority leader in inefficiencies in government requires attention? That's a majority leader saying that. That's a fine confession. Asing North Assembly employs new ways to transform communities. Let's get to the other stories. Absence of capital punishment, cause of indiscipline in schools, which is the main story the main issue we'll be dealing with on the AM show. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, has stated that the promotion of child rights without appropriate corresponding measures to limit their access has emboldened students of schools to misbehave and become indisciplined. So we're asking you this morning if you actually agree with that and whether corporal punishment should be brought back. Join us for the conversation, which will come up after sports. So do stay tuned in for that. And then religious bodies critical to safeguarding national security. That's the National Security Minister Kandapa saying that. And annual Chief Justice Forum ends at Koforidua. Pregnancy-related NCDs, largest cost drivers of NHIS, Dr. Entry. Fix the country demo against 2022 budgets. And moving on to other stories, Okujeto Ablakwa makes case for local rice by presenting combined harvester. And I thought that was really, really, a good thing, lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
The Member of Parliament for North Tong constituency in the Volta region, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, took his campaign for Buy Made in Ghana rice a notch higher last Saturday by presenting a 300,000 cedi brand new combined harvester to the Vaime Rice Farmers Association in his constituency. So he says this combined harvester will enable the rice farmers in his constituency harvest their rice a lot faster. He says they should be able to harvest their rice before Christmas. And I guess it would mean that, but it's actually not that they're going to use the combined harvester for free. They're going to be paying for it, but it's subsidized. It's much cheaper, he says, than if they had to go to rent a commercial combined harvester. So that's very commendable. So thank you very much, Okujeto Ablakwa, for supporting your community. Yeah, 1,000 cities. That's a lot of money. Okay. Government commences construction of 6,584 houses for public servants next year. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully the public servants will get some
good houses, yeah.
And then VIP task varsities to produce critical thinkers. The university should be producing critical thinkers.
It's a given. Yeah. I mean, it's not something that.
Yeah, you don't need.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually even a course. I think it's in level 100 on critical thinking and something. Can't remember what the course title is. But yeah, what was the headline again?
VIP is tasking universities to produce critical thinkers.
I see. It's interesting. I think it's not just the university, though, is it? It's just, it should be something that's in our curriculum. But, you know, that we're producing people who think critically. Yeah. That also requires that the people who are teaching are thinking critically. And those who are in government think it's not just like I'm not going to shade anybody this morning.
But a lot of the time it actually has to do with some basic, there's some basic quizzes that they can give you that will tend to help you, you know, to think critically, such as the National Science and Maths Quiz Trivia. We have one for today. If you can pull it up so we can get to share that with them. There's a trivia which I've already solved, actually.
Okay.
So we'll share that with you. Then BOG raises policy rate over rising inflation. Okay. And banking sector remains sound, well capitalized, with growth in assets. That's the governor also saying that. Fuel prices to hit 7 cities at the end of year.
God, I felt that.
Apparently it's gone past already.
It has. I've been buying mine for 6, 8, something.
No. It's gone to, okay, so I've seen one going to 6.9.
6990, yeah.
990. And apparently there's some that's going for 7.2 something already.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Chala, if I park then walk.
Oh, so that's also not possible. Because if you have to park and walk to work, and the show won't do it.
Or maybe we should carpool.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
And then taxable mobile money transactions should be above 200 cedis per day, Kenashigbe. Okay. So they bring in the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Kenashigbe, has asked government to increase the electronic transaction levies exemption threshold to 200 cedis per day. It's something that it's worth considering. So right now, government is saying they're looking at 100 cedis. But Kenashigbe is saying let's take it to 200.
200.
Okay, it's worth considering. And in sports, Amponsa Lareba win Good Day Energy Cross Country. The Sidero crowned GAFA Inter-Club champs and has coach Samuel Bwedu hailed in Obuasi. Hey, why would they hail him?
Why wouldn't they hail him? What's the issue there?
But we lost. Crowds of folk lost in Obuasi, and then you hear, okay. In an utmost show of their unflinching support, crowds of folk fans.
You should understand that phrase, unflinching support. Hearts of Folk, Arsenal.
Coach Samuel Bwedu.
Wait, I have a question.
Defeat to Ashanti.
I have a question. Who is the Arsenal coach?
Ateta.
Yeah, he's still coach, right?
Yeah.
They're still losing their games.
No, Arsenal is doing quite well.
They
just lost.
Okay, yeah. My point is that they've supported him for a while. Tata, they supported Arsene Wenger for a very long time.
But they didn't carry him.
Oh, I mean, they were carrying him spiritually, except that Hearts of Folk is physical. But you understand unflinching support. You've been supporting them for a while. Israel, you've been doing the Ghanaian Times for almost 15 minutes.
I'm almost done. Good time. Bayern suffers Champions League headache. Missed 5 quarantine players against Kiev. Pochettino top target to replace Ole. And FIFA changes playoff format for last 2 places at World Cup. Your actions are killing the sport, Neil Antivanapoi tells boxing stakeholders. And Hearts commence preparation ahead of JS Surah clash. And on the back page, NCCE urges Ghanaians to respect people's rights privileges and work on adolescent reproductive center for Lankwantana Medina begins. I'm done.
Okay, so I have the daily graphic and the daily guide. I can't decide which one to do, so I'm going to do in, pin, setting pin, in, pin, out. And so you are not in, out. Okay, so I'm going to do the daily guide.
Which one is that?
The in, pin, setting pin. You don't know in, pin, setting pin?
No. This one probably you learned it from the UK or something. That's
in, pin, setting pin, in, pin, out. Echo, do you know in, pin, setting pin?
He doesn't know it.
Wow, you guys, okay, whatever. Anyway, daily guide.
Ours is C.
Nanako, Tata, Bongo, so, Mom, in pin, setting pin, in pin. I don't know, I learned it in school.
Dadabi School.
Wege, no size. Should I start?
Okay.
Should I start? Okay. Thank you very much. Very good. What's your school in the NSMQ? Oh, you're out. Okay, sorry. Because school is out as well. Actually, I don't think there's anybody in the studio right now whose school is in the semifinals. Oh, okay. So yeah, school Chemu is in the semifinals, whatever. Anyways, the Daily Guide this morning.
We all get to know our level by the end of today.
You already know your level, please. Your level will never be my level, even if we drop out today. Please. Cocoa BT robbery for arrested. I can remove Akufo-Addo. Bagbin brags. Baumia wants efficient use of public resources. NPP tackles NDC propaganda. I'm going to do the international stories.
Akufo-Addo interests me.
Get it. Hemano fail.
Oh, no.
No, do it.
Oh. I'm not taking it away from him. I'm wondering how he can remove Akufo-Addo.
Okay, so Speaker of Parliament has criticized the executive arm of government in the way and manner he claims they don't look out for the legislature, and said he can even remove the president, and the president cannot remove him from office. I think he's talking about the law that, maybe allows Parliament to, I don't know, impeach a president, and the fact that law is not reversed.
No, but he can't remove the president.
Oh, what was that question? There was a question in Parliament a while ago.
What is
Yes, what is your number exactly?
Akufo-Addo is number 1.
Yes, and number 3 is saying he can remove number 1, but number 1 can't remove.
You can't just
3.
get up and remove him like that.
Obviously, you can't get up and remove him, but there is room for that.
Well,
and the thing is, it doesn't go,
it's a long shot.
It's a long shot, but it's still a shot. I mean, you still support Hearts of Folk, so I don't know why you're against long shots. Anyways, on page 5, I'm sorry, Israel, I'm going to stop.
Hearts of Folk is it's the champion, actually.
Okay. Page 5 of the Daily Guide, international stories. 5 killed as SUV plows through Wisconsin Christmas parade. Italy cracks gang forcing Nigerian women into prostitution. Oh, Taliban ban women from TV dramas in Afghanistan. COVID-19, Austria enters nationwide lockdown. I talked about that yesterday. Okay, so the UNICEF has unveiled a child rights mural. Oh, that's really lovely. Okay. And the painting is on the walls outside the UN compound in the UNICEF house, and it symbolizes the dreams and rights of children. Okay, so let's do some entertainment. Color Box, Ajaj Beauty Brand of the Year. Chemfe. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it properly. Chemfe. Echo.
Isn't it Chempe?
It's not Chempe. Chemfe out with Conqueror, and he's a musician. Stone Boy unfollows Aisha Modi on Instagram. Oh gosh, okay, they're no longer friends on Instagram. They've both unfollowed each other. It's unclear the reasons behind their actions, but rumors making the rounds suggest that they may have had enough of each other. Okay, so that's
they have had enough of each other?
Yes, in terms of social media, Liz. Yeah. Okay, Stone Boy honored at EFRIMA 2021.
That phrase is loaded.
Stone G ends nomination at Arman. Anana Akosua-Addo is 2021 Miss Galaxy Ghana. And then on the back page, Pochettino pops up as new Man U boss. Kotoko NLA strike bumper deal. Garmanche swings with golfers. And then there's a lot more stuff about golf. Okay, let me just do the daily graphic really quickly. Digital transformation drive is shared responsibility. NMC commends graphic group for agenda setting. Underdogs edge out big names. National Science and Maths quiz enters the semis. So that's really interesting. Limits of U.S. influence evidence during
the front page. The main
Blinken tour. 2 in court. Do you just want to do the paper?
No.
2 in court over MP's immunity. The vexed issue of immunity granted to members of parliament not to appear in a court when performing their official functions has ended up at the Supreme Court. But we knew this. We knew that this was where this was going to, right? Yeah, so it's in the courts. I'm sure we'll hear more about it as we progress. 5 dead, 40 wounded. That's in Wisconsin. Okay, so the deals from yesterday continue. Lots of deals, lots of sales. Local government reforms, coalition begins consultations. E-levy necessary for economic recovery. That's according to Dr. Kuma. The NCC is asking Ghanaians to safeguard the country's peace. Court orders 2 ministers to release students' death report. There's death of a student at the KNUST High School, and they're asking that the reports be released to the father of the deceased. Middle page, religious bodies urged to safeguard national security. Return mission schools to churches. That's according to the Presby moderator. He's asking that faith-based schools be returned to the churches and other faith-based groups so that they can, and in a way, I'm tempted to agree because, that the system is becoming such that, and maybe it hasn't come to Ghana as much, but in the Western world and stuff, we see how the system has become such a way that you can't talk about Jesus, you can't talk about God, you can't talk about trying to make schools very secular. But the nice thing, if you pick a faith-based school, then you know that you're actually sending your children to a school that preaches or teaches those values that you want. And I think that's important that parents have that choice, to decide that I want my kids to be raised in a certain way, as opposed to a certain standard that's just, okay, we're ready to receive next batch of free SHS entrants. That's Reverend Ntim Fojo, who is assuring, the Deputy Minister of Education, he's assuring parents that any challenge that you will bring to our attention will be timelessly addressed. All right, okay, Danish Premier on 2-day, Prime Minister, on 2-day state visit tomorrow, so she's coming to town. Okay, so National Science and Maths quiz enters semis, and it talks about, the underdogs. So Chemu, Keta, Wesley Girls, Tamale, Presec, Pesco, Prempe, Pokuwari, KNUST.
You say Wesley Girls is an underdog?
I think in terms of the fact that girls' schools don't usually get to the semifinals, so... Congratulations. Thank you. And honestly, like I said yesterday, it's not even about Wesley Girls for me anymore. It's really just about seeing, women excel at that level. So I think we should all rally around the girls' schools. And yeah, your okay sounds like my okay when you're telling me the Hearts of Oak is a good team. Human activities, rainfall to exacerbate flooding within the Pra River. Women top men in shisha smoking. Wowzers. Women outnumber men in the smoking of shisha in Ghana. A senior regulatory officer at the Tobacco and Substances Abuse Department has announced. She explains that females were more drawn to the flavorful product due to its perceived low toxicity level. Wow, so women are doing a lot more shisha than men. Data quality indispensable for financial sector. That's about it, but it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to take a break. You can catch more news, business, entertainment on myjoyonline.com. Everything that you missed out from here will be there. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you some sports, and after that, the conversations continue. Stay tuned in. This is the AM Show.
All right, so this is the AM show. Let's get into our main conversation for today, and it has to do with school principals worried about the spate of indiscipline in schools in Ghana, and they believe it has everything to do with corporal punishment being outlawed in schools. They're essentially saying sparing the rod is spoiling the children, and so they concluded after their 59th annual conference in the Upper East region that there needs to be another look at their current policy. They complain about the plethora of acts of indiscipline students have been engaged in recent years. So this morning, we ask if Charles has a point and whether it's about time the policy on corporal punishment is reviewed. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers, as well, whether you're a student or a parent. Joining us in the studio is Peter Anti, Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies. We also have on Zoom SEFAM LORD-MENSAH, who's a teacher and a parent, and then ADUOMI, he's the secretary at CHAS. We also will be joined later on by Cassandra Chum Ampo, who's a PRO of the Ghana Education Service. But I'd want us to start with OWUSU ADUOMI, who's the secretary of CHAS. Good morning to you, Mr. ADUOMI.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
And thank you for joining us in this conversation. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, Charles has been making the case about the fact that sparing the rod is spoiling the child. Please elaborate a bit more on that for us.
Yes, we are saying that not necessarily spoiling the rod and spoiling the child. The fact is that we believe that what we have done is about picking something from line hook and sinker and then bringing it to our domain. That's why we have called for a dialogue. Okay. We are not against the use of the abolition of corporal punishment, but we should find a way. We are in a different culture altogether. And so we should find a way of coming out with a workable, if you like, solution to the challenge of indiscipline in the school. We are not, the people who did it are managers and we must follow it. But the fact is that we also have to ensure that something in between the corporal punishment and the non-use of corporal punishment, we come to a midway and then see that we are able to forge ahead. We are only at a loss in relation to the number of challenges that we have in our school as a result of the abolition of the book. That's why we came out with that.
And you feel that several acts of indiscipline that have been reported in recent times or happening in the schools has to do with this complete abolition of the corporal punishment?
Yes, it may not necessarily be so alone, but sometimes the attack on the classroom teacher. You understand? The attack on the... you see, sometimes the students themselves might even not know that corporal punishment has been abolished. At the moment they hear of anything, they go attacking... we are not talking about senior high schools alone, but a holistic approach, maybe pre-tertiary, whatever. Because you in the community, a teacher falters a bit. And you see, sometimes the whole community going in fury to, if you like, get to the teacher and then give him a befitting punishment that is beyond that of the student. We need to talk about it. And I like your program this morning, that you are also coming into the system and you are talking about. So it's about all of us to think about an African way. It's biblical. In fact, the Reverend Father who prayed at our Congress, actually, I have forgotten but it's biblical that you spare
the rod.
You spare the rod and then you spoil the child. And so definitely there should be. We are not talking about. We are not against it at all, because I didn't receive any cane when I was a kid. But I've grown up at least to be ahead as a modest achievement, of course. But the fact still remains that we need to. There are some students who are so recalcitrant that you need to do something, and that something is what we must all find. In fact, Charles didn't have a clue as to what we are supposed to do, but we are saying that there should be a common ground that does not actually bring in that of the Western life, line hook and sinker, where in the West somebody can tell the father, "Don't be silly," and the father doesn't have. The father is helpless. You understand? But here we are Africans. We have a way of so this. We can bring in the traditional people, the academia, everybody,
right.
Like the media, so at least we can come to a common ground as how we can instill discipline in our students.
All right, Mr. OWUSU, I want to bring in my colleague, Enima Mado, who has a question for you. Enima.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay. So, how would you be able to regulate the amount of corporal punishment being meted out? So, I mean, growing up, we remember being in school when teachers would soak cane in water, or, make you kneel down and they would beat you and they would leave you with scars and, all of those things. And for me, I mean, and in my experience, it only succeeded in making us more scheming and devious about the bad things we wanted to do. So we avoided punishment as opposed to changing behavior. So first thing, if we're breaking it down, how are you going to regulate this punishment so that it doesn't become abuse? And secondly, is the focus compliance or is the focus reformation?
We are talking about we are not talking about corporal punishment as, bringing it back into our fold. But the fact still remains that, as we are saying, regulation of the, I will not support any teacher who uses the cane in my school to as a form of any punishment. Or it's not the case. But we are saying that if the sin is allowed, before the abolition, the headmaster could do something, at least 6 lashes, supervised by the headmaster. You understand?
So is the headmaster not going to spend the whole day supervising lashing then?
Yes, before the abolition in 2017, the rule was that the headmaster could supervise at least some, especially when the kid has gone so much into discipline. And so that was exactly the case. But now it is totally abolished. So anybody who does that, be it the headmaster or whoever, is under it's an aberration to the law of the land. So what they are trying to say is that let's now have a common. I'm not talking about maybe how is it going to be regulated or whatever, but the fact is that we need to dialogue. In fact, Alaji wasn't calling for the reinstating of the my president I'm talking about wasn't calling for the reinstatement of corporal punishment, but he was talking about dialoguing to get to a common, because the cultures in which we brought this culture are advanced. When they mention anything in science, for instance, it is there, the kids see, they feel, they touch. Here, most of the things that we do may be in abstract. You need some pushers to be able to get those things installed. And then you go to some of the institutions outside, and you have a lot of workers there who are doing their editorial work and all that. Here, nothing. And so we need to get rules and regulations that will make a child feel that what he did wasn't right. And so long as there are prisons and all that to punish even people in the advanced countries, so is that there should be something that should regulate our life in the school. If these things are taken out entirely, then the head of the school is helpless. And so you look on while others do whatever they do. And I think that is what we are talking about. We are not talking about the fact that the abolition should be brought back. No. We are talking about a central point where all of us would agree. And I think what we have started at Joy FM is a good way of dialoguing with others. And I hear a lot of other people who speak after mine. And then we will take it from there, whatever we are, because definitely we'll be in Accra and then dialogue even again with our management members on even the community. And those are all things that we expect to happen. And I think that is the only way we can move forward and then forge ahead. Because what is happening in the schools is still, I don't know whether it's because of the social media networking that has brought about, some of these things. Maybe it was happening in the olden days, but we're not hearing because we didn't have WhatsApp, we didn't have whatever. For now, I think it's so pronounced that we are becoming afraid. My dear, when we are vacating, you need a police presence to be in the schools. I don't know whether you have. When we are vacating, when the kids finish their school, their papers, and they are going out, you need the police presence to be able to make the school security free. Otherwise, they will vandalize most of the items that you have, including cars, whatever is inside.
So thank you very much, Mr. OWUSU ADUOMI, but I want you to stay on because we are going to have the conversation with others, and we'll bring you on.
Around, yeah.
We have SEFAM LORD-MENSAH, who is a teacher and a parent as well. We'll be taking her views on the conversation. But let's come into the studio and speak with Peter Anti. Now, Peter, you've heard what the Chas is saying. Essentially, they're not saying that let's bring back corporal punishment, but they're looking at finding some middle ground. But what do you make of the policy of outlawing corporal punishment in the first place?
Thank you very much. One, I understand the challenges the teachers are going through. it was a good policy that in our educational system and in most advanced countries, corporal punishments are not entertained because it has a lot of emotional and psychological impact on the students. So when we decided to gradually eliminate that from the system, it was a good thing that we agreed or we decided to do. But then society changes, and because society changes, we need to also be able to find ways and means to meet the changing dynamics in our society. And one of the ways we could have done this would have been to engage in a lot of dialogue to allow the teachers and the school authorities understand how best they will be able to implement the new positive punitive measures that were going to be introduced. Because if you look at all countries that have abolished corporal punishment, they have systems in place. They have various professionals in the various educational institutions. They did a lot of education. They did a lot of sensitization, so that by the time that the policy was rolled out, there was a lot of understanding, there was a lot of capacity building, and the policy was able to be implemented fruitfully. But in our system, we were not able to do that. We decided to take the canes away from the teachers, which seemed to be their source of power, and then the teachers felt helpless. But we did not, at the same time, empower the teachers to be equipped with the skills to be able to implement the positive punitive measures that we wanted them to do. We left our schools just like that, without having proper psychologists and guidance and counseling coordinators well trained to be able to do what they are supposed to do, profile students, identify them, and as Madam said, be able to help them reform from whatever challenges that they seem to have been going through. And that is why we have an escalation of indiscipline in our schools, because now you took the power away from the teacher. What the teachers saw was their source of power, what the students seem to have been feared, but you did not build the capacity of the teacher to implement your new policy. And that is what is really happening now.
Let me bring in SEFAM, who's a teacher and a parent as well. So, SEFAM, you've been listening to the conversation for a while now. What's your position about the abolition of corporal punishment?
I was able to listen to the tape from Charles, the meeting. And just like our president indicated, mind you, I am not speaking for Ghana Education Service. I am a parent, yes, I'm an educationist. So my views are not to be a voice for Ghana Education Service.
No. In fact, for this question, I want you to speak as a teacher.
Good. So when I listen, what actually is coming up with corporal punishment has been abolished. However, the space has been left out gray. There's nothing to support teachers in the schools when issues like this happened. Trace back and ask yourself, this corporal punishment, and it has been there for ages. Even in the Bible, Jesus was bitten, right? Lots of people were punished, were caned. And they realized that, and when you go online, you notice that lots of research has come out to indicate the negative effect of corporal punishment. So out of 195 or 193 countries, we are getting about 132, 130-something countries abolishing corporal punishment in their schools. Even in the developed countries, some of them are still struggling with these issues, that they want to take it out entirely because they've noticed that the negative effects of corporal punishment in our schools are not helping. Punishment is an aspect of discipline, but it is not all about punishment. We discipline to make sure that the person stays in line. And mind you, discipline is an internal something, but punishment is something that someone would instruct or give to you for you to act in a certain manner, and it would provide or give you the immediate response, yet it does not. So if you are in our schools and our children, our students are misbehaving, some of them pulling scissors, stabbing teachers, slapping teachers, misbehaving in class, not coming to school early, truancy, substance abuse, and other things, we need to go and find out what is really happening. Is it coming from the house? So if corporal punishment, which is what we know in this part of the world, that is the only way we can put students in order, if it has been taken out, what other means are we using? If you have to resort to counseling, how are the students being counseled? What kind of counselor are the schools being given? Are they trained enough to go down to the background, deep to the background of the student? If a child is suffering from an adverse childhood experiences, that is traumatic behaviors where children experience from infancy to late teens, is what the child is exhibiting in school. And that child comes to school. And the only way that child can fit into the school is also you punishing that child through severe things. That child will leave school. But I don't think any teacher is interested in punishing a child for that child to hate school.
Right.
No way.
SEFAM, are you saying that when the corporal punishment was outlawed in the schools, we were not giving any options at all or any other way out?
For me, it was more like a gray area. So what happens is, counsel the child, talk to the child. What kind of facility or resources have you provided the teacher to rely on to do this work excellently, effectively, and efficiently? If the counselor is not resourced enough, that counselor can do it to a limit. Probably some public schools are talking of over 3,000 students to one counselor in the school. So what I know some schools are doing is that some schools have welcomed some teachers on board for them to help the counselor to be able to do this work. So if a counselor is dealing with 3,000 students and in each class you are having issues with inappropriate behavior, maybe 7 or 10 students out of it are having issues, do you think that counselor will be able to handle those issues? No. So if corporal punishment has been taken out of the school, what are the measures or the mechanism that will be put in place? I am very happy the other gentleman, is it Peter? Indicated that, good, teachers are supposed to be resourced, trained. Can we now get back to schools in our curriculum, teacher training schools, and inculcate into the curriculum what corporal punishment is all about, the effects, the negative tendencies of it, what are adverse childhood experiences, what effect or impact is it having on that child? How would it impact on the child's educational journey negatively or positively? How do you as a teacher meet that child? Because mind you, in the school, we are not just interested in the cognitive training of the child. We are interested in the affective, which is the values of that child, the activity based, then the cognitive aspect. So if that child, if that parent is not, teacher is not resourced enough, and the teacher is left out, okay, counsel. What kind of counseling are we talking about? Is a counselor resourced to do that work effectively? So I think Charles is not saying that bring back corporal punishment, but he mentioned that I'm sure is it Mr. OWUSU doesn't want to use the word, that he's not saying that. He says a safe rule. He used the word that I'm trying to paraphrase. They want a straight jacket. What are you supposed to do as a school? No corporal punishment. Counseling. How do you go through the counseling? If the issues are severe, do we take the child out? If you're not taking the child out, how do you solve those issues for that child to come back to school? Because we don't want to leave any child out. Every child, we want to save every child. No child is supposed to be left behind. So that is the basis of discipline. And again, I'm stressing that discipline is an internal something. And he also mentioned that he was never punished. I wasn't also caned, but here I am. So those who are internally motivated will stay in school. But those who have got challenges, maybe they have a learning challenge or disability, and you punish them, you cane them, what are you doing? It would make them stay away from school the more. After all, when I come, I'm going to receive punishment. And some also grow tough skin. You can realize that some students will stay there. If it's 12 canes or whatever you give them, they stay there and they get it, and they get fines from their colleagues. So what are you doing? But what we are trying to say that, what is the way forward? If other countries have been able to abolish it in their system, what are they putting in place? Sweden, I'm sure, was the first to take this thing out of their school. Are you trying to say that they don't have issues? They are struggling. They are battling with issues in their schools. They are battling with social media. They are battling with internet. They are battling with drug abuse. They are battling with early sex. all kinds of things, but how are they handling it? How can we learn from these things and inculcate it in our system? This should be what we should be talking about, and how the conversation should lead us to solve these issues.
So, SEFAM, we all tend to agree that corporal punishment is not a good thing, and it's good that we got rid of it.
That's
but
right.
Would you rather we brought back corporal punishment, considering we didn't put in place any other mechanism to address the issue of indiscipline?
Can we say that we want to get rid of internet usage because we are having issues? We are getting around it. So it has been abolished. The conversation has started. So what is the way forward? So as we dialogue, gradually we would put things in place. So, but we can't say that bring it back and let's find solutions to it. But It shouldn't be a jacket fix.
Yeah.
These issues that we are talking about are child per child related. So we can't treat, even with one child, you can't use the same means of discipline or punishment towards one child, because circumstances and issues and events and experiences will make the child behave in a certain way. So if you're a teacher and you are focused and you are proactive in nature, you realize that this method I used for this child can't be used for this other one, or can't be used again. I need to use another way. So no, in as much as we are still talking and we don't have things in place, we should bring back corporal punishment. No, please, we can't do that. We are having issues with the internet. Look at Ghana here. Our internet space is porous. When you log on, anything you want, you get it. It is not even age appropriate. Are we saying that because of that we are banning internet in our system? We are still using it, but we are going around it in a manner that would benefit all of us.
Okay, SEFAM, I'm just wondering, as a parent myself, how much of a cooperation would it take between parents and teachers to get, the children to be more well-behaved? Because you're talking about even the fact that every child will have to be disciplined differently, So if we're talking about things like, positive reinforcement, and those kinds of methods that are being used in the Western world, then how much of that will also depend on the cooperation between the teachers and the parents if we're taking away caning completely? Okay, so SEFAM is frozen. She was talking about internet issues, and then suddenly we're having internet issues. SEFAM, are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please tell your fans not to call you.
I was wondering what was going on.
Okay, so I was asking about the cooperation between parents and teachers. Right. If we're taking away corporal punishment, or as it has been taken away, and what we're actually trying to do is put in measures that will reinforce positive behavior, and take away negative behavior, how much of that is dependent on the teachers and the parents working together to create solutions for each child? Because like you said, every child is different. So the punishments and things that children respond to are different depending on their personalities. How much of it is dependent on the teacher's ability to work with the parents?
It's so much like a 50-50 collaboration. We can even say 30-70, because you notice that children spend lots of time even at school more than at home. And now in Ghana, where we are now, you get parents, even though they are supposed to be spending lots of time weekend, you are still working when it comes to a weekend. You have your teaching job and you have your side hustle. So weekend, you are not at home. And the children tend to spend lots of time at school, and then when they come home, they are also not. So it is more like not just paying the fees for the child and staying back and thinking that the teacher is supposed to perform the magic on your child. You are supposed to play your part as a parent, and the teacher would also play his or her part. You collaborate. That is why in some of the private schools, they have parent-teacher conferencing where the teacher and the parents sit one-on-one. They have a thorough discussion on the performance and the progress of the child, not just academic-wise, but the social aspect of the child. And sometimes children trust teachers so much that they are able to open up to the... And so how that is, the teacher doesn't want to talk about it for the fear that the parent will be embarrassed. He or she would have a way of going about it, because the students coming to school will confide in the teacher. So if you have that kind of trust and open relationship with your school, the teacher and the parent, it will go a long way to improve that learning experience of that child. It is not just the teacher's work, neither is it the parents' work. And this issue too, where we parents, most of us dump the students on the teachers, thinking that by magic something will be done. For me, it's a no-go area. Both of us are supposed to be working on that child to make that child the person or who he or she wants to be. Right. You know what? The thing is inside. We the teachers are serving as a guide. So we are only to guide, to prune, to nurture, so that whatever is deposited in that child comes out naturally. So that is why discipline, it says is coming from a Latin word that says what? Disciples. So disciples are what? Students, and students is supposed to learn. So if you're a disciple, you are supposed to instruct. So we guide that student. So that is what we are supposed to do. And it shouldn't be the work of just the teachers. Parents are supposed to be involved, not just paying of the fees, but making sure that the things you are supposed to. It says charity begins at home. So if you don't instill those values in your child and you just push the child to school, meaning that you are sending that child to be a nuisance in the school. However, that child has got so much. I don't believe in a child who is a useless child or a beyond redemption. Every child has got a story. It is just a matter of time and how we can go about it that we can save that child.
Okay, SEFAM, I'm going to hand you over to Israel in a second, but I want to talk to you about mindsets and the Ghanaian mindset and the way that we think and the way that we raise our children. So for a very long time, we've been a lot more concerned with what our children look like or what they present as opposed to who they are or who they are becoming on the inside. And I mean, raising and nurturing a child from the inside is hard work. It's a painful, tedious process of constantly trying to prune and constantly trying to adjust behavior and, you know, deal with all those things. Do we have the capacity as a society to have taken away this easier form of punishment? Because I believe, you know, that the corporal punishment, all it does is it improves compliance temporarily. But do we have the capacity to actually be the people who are changing the next generation when we ourselves are struggling with certain mindsets that sometimes when the children challenge, we have no answers to? Remember, for a long time when we were growing up, when we asked our parents, you know, why this, why that, the answer a lot of times was because I say so or because I've told you so. But the children of today are not like that. There's so much more information. There's the internet. I don't know, God seems to be creating them a little bit differently these days, you know. So do we have the capacity to do all of these things that we want to do, or are we just, you know, hoping that we can just get them to comply through the school years and then we can send them off?
So capacity is the ability and the willingness to reform and to empower ourselves. Like you said, when we were young, you dare not ask certain questions. When we were young, you dare not even frown when you are asked to do something. But of the children of these days, when you ask them to do something and they frown, you need to explain why you want them to do those things. So it is more about we parents being ready to reform and to empower ourselves, reading more. Even before you get pregnant, you need to read more about the pregnancy, the stages that you go through, the decisions and the decisions you make and how it will affect that unborn child in your tummy, the stages, and even when the child is born. So making all these decisions is about what? Empowerment. So if you read more and you are willing to learn, I am sure that the narrative continues to change and we would reform. So yes, we don't have the capacity, but we have the ability to reform and empower ourselves through education. And then education is not just about formal education. What we are doing, we are learning. We also learn informally. We also learn by looking at our children and how they develop. I have 3, and they are all different in so many ways. And their differences even make me as a mother to grow because I am beginning to learn. And sometimes they challenge what I have known over the years, thinking that that is the right way. Yeah. And they come to tell you that that is not the right way.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, SEFAM. Fortunately, we have the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Education Service, Cassandra Chum Ampo, for joining us now. Good morning to you, Cassandra. Good morning, Cassandra.
Good morning, Israel.
All right, so we have been having this conversation for a while, and what Chas is saying now is, can we have a conversation, a dialogue on finding some middle ground as far as, you know, the abolition of corporal punishment is concerned? They are not saying that let's bring back corporal punishment, but they're saying that we should also be looking at how we can tackle indiscipline or the growing indiscipline in our schools. What's the GS's position on this?
Well, thank you very much, Israel, and good morning to your viewers. Yes, for us, any discussion around corporal punishment is welcomed, and we are looking at making the school environment safe so that the students, we believe that education is key. Students that come to us for us to provide quality education, two of them must be happy and stay in school. The environment must also be conducive for teachers as well. So it's all about projecting the safe school environment. And so any discussion around it is welcome.
Okay.
For us, we have, apart the corporal punishment that we banned, we also gave an alternative tool for positive discipline in the school.
All right, what's your alternative?
Yes. So for the alternative positive discipline tools, we have 4 levels. And for us, we feel that the first level, you have to create a disciplined environment. And that simply means that we expect that teachers and the learners or students themselves would come together and set out rules and expectations of students. And then what they are supposed to do. So, for example, let me give you a practical example. If we come together, students and teachers come together and decide that, well, if you litter, this is the punishment. You have to sweep the classroom for the whole day. Or you have to sweep the classroom for a week, you have to sweep the classroom for a week. Then both students and teachers have come together to put this rule across. And so if you go against it, you are reminded and then there's sanction.
Right.
We believe that when you come together to create that disciplined environment, the students own that and they are able to abide by it. So that is the first level.
Okay.
Now we have the second level, which is the minor or first-time offense. And so here, it is non-punitive actions, and it's basically intended to remind students of the laid-down standards of behavior. So if we say don't litter, we have all agreed that we don't have to litter. If you litter, you sweep the class for the whole week, and then you do it as a first-time offender. We'll have to engage the students and remind you that we all said that if you litter, this is what is going to happen. Why did you litter? We'll have to find out, and we have to remind the students. So it's just to make this environment safe. And then the third, if consistently we have a repeated offense from the students who would keep on littering, then we have to apply, for example, if this boy or this girl loves football, that is where you can bring in isolation. You isolate the students, or you look for other way of reformative measures that the students will go through, so that if he or she likes football and you isolate him, I mean, he's going to miss the students or his colleagues or the friends playing football, and so would want to join them and would not want to do that again. And so that is the level, the third level. And then the final level, which is the chronic and dangerous and disruptive behavior, we are saying that if consistently this student keeps doing the wrong thing, then we should really go further, invite the parents. There may be an underlying condition, maybe physically, psychologically, or medically. So we need to find out. So if A, B, C, it keeps on going on and going on, you keep reminding, you keep applying the other positive sanctions, and the student keeps repeating, then we have to bring in the parents and then find out what exactly the underlying condition is that keeps making the students. So these are the 4 levels that I can explain that. We believe that when we are able to take the students through, the focus is to reform them, not to inflict physical or mental pain on the students.
Right.
That we believe that would not help the students stay in school and then learn. So we want to have done the wrong thing. You want to correct them. Let's use the positive ways of correcting them, because at the end of the day, we want them to change. We don't want them to be in pain. We've had instances where some teachers are caning, and then a student nearly lost the eye, right? Some will also ask you to kneel. Some will even pull your ear. Some will let you, use spoons and other things. A whole sort of things in the schools. And it makes the environment a violent environment. And that is what we don't want to.
Thank you very much, Cassandra Chum Amfofo. Unfortunately, we can't go into as much as we would want to, but I believe now that you've indicated you're open, or the GS is open to having conversations about this, we'll take it from there. But there's also, I want to come to you, Mr. OWUSU ADUOMI. You heard all that Cassandra had to say. Is it the case that it's not working in the schools?
Yes, the whole thing is with the guidance and counseling department of the schools, and like all my other speakers have said, I think we are all in the same boat. Definitely the capacity of the guidance and counseling units of the school will have to be enhanced so they would work. Our student population of about 2002, we have the school chaplain who is doubling up the guidance and counseling coordinator. He's only a priest. I don't know how well versed he is in guidance and counseling. That's not to the little ability. But the fact still remains that we have well-trained and equipped guidance and counseling coordinators in the schools. I don't know what of other schools. It will go a long way to boost this counseling unit, and they will be able to do a wonderful job. We are in for everything. Everything that would come, we are in for it. And we are expecting that the engineers will engage us more on some of these things, so that quickly those institutions that do not have well-qualified guidance and counseling units would have them. So it would continue from there. I abhor corporal punishment myself, so I wouldn't anything to be done to them. But definitely we are Africans, and we need to do things the way we feel it is right. And I think I agree with everybody who has spoken on the panel.
Mr. OWUSU ADUOMI, finally, I just want to ask you quickly, do you get the sense that, and SEFAM alluded to that, do you get the sense that parents are dumping their children on you and avoiding disciplining them in their homes?
It could be 50-50. Sometimes when you speak to, sometimes when schools are on vacation, you ask a parent to call and ask, when will school reopen? Because the kids, and in this COVID, and the COVID-19 pandemic, and the epic of it, we had several calls. And when the schools reopening, said that our kids will come to, and they are not saying these things out of the blue. They know what they undergo when their wards are in the house. So some of them, yes, they train their wards so well. In my home, I'm not boasting, but when you come, all my little ones are here. They are on vacation, and yet you cannot even hear there are people inside. Yeah. So it's about how you bring up your words. So parents will also have to come into the fray.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, KWAME OWUSU ADUOMI, Secretary for CHAS, and we also had Cassandra Chum Amfofo, the PRO of the Ghana Education Service, also joining us, and then SEFAM LORD-MENSAH, a teacher and a parent. Thank you very much, SEFAM, for being part of the conversation. I'll give Peter Anti, who's with us in the studio, the final words on this before we get to go. So, your concluding remarks about how we can take this forward. The GSS is open to having a dialogue on this.
All right, thank you very much. One, I think that there are two steps that we can use. One, we need to resort to an immediate measure. Immediate measure meaning that we have to employ a lot of psychologists and then guidance and counseling coordinators in our schools as early as possible to be able to implement the positive punitive measures that the GS is taking. But for me, the long-term measure is what is important to me. See, education should be deliberate. And in doing or in trying to give deliberate education, we should understand that society is changing. the socialization process has now shifted from the family to the school. So we should be able to structure our educational institutions in such a way that they are able to not only provide the needed education in terms of the cognitive development, but also they should be able to shape the total behavior of the child in terms of their affective. That is what is really lacking, and the support systems and everything that needed to be provided in the school through the curriculum should be provided. And that, if you're able to do that, we are safe. We are going to be safe in the next generation that is about to come. But if you don't do that, and we focus so much about the cognitive development, we are going to have intellectuals who are able to do marvelously well, but they are morally corrupt.
All right. Thank you very much, Peter Anti. He's Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, and the conversation will continue, and it certainly should continue. But before we go, we actually have a statement coming from the GES. It's not related to discipline in schools.
No, it's not. Okay, so it's a press release, and it's on the Public Education and Sensitization on School Selection 2021-2022. So management of the Ghana Education Service wishes to inform the general public, particularly parents, candidates and teachers, that the sensitization and education on this year's guidelines for school selection into senior high schools will commence tomorrow, Tuesday, the 23rd of November, 2021. This exercise will take place in all the respective regional district education directorates and schools. Now, management wishes to inform all stakeholders to watch out for infographics, short videos in 9 Ghanaian languages, flyers, and the physical presence of officers in all districts, communities, and schools to embark on the sensitization drive. Management further informs stakeholders that the selection of schools is scheduled from 29th November 2021 to 14th December 2021. Parents and guardians are particularly advised to take keen interest in the selection of schools processes to ensure a smooth placement this year. Again, there would be an opportunity for candidates to text to a short code and confirm their school choices before actual placements will be done. Details of the short code will be made available in due course. And that's signed by Cassandra Chum Ampofum, head of the Public Relations Unit. And a very big thank you to everyone, all of our friends who joined us for this conversation. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking to Primetime and Goyle about what's happening in the country, the most exciting thing going on in Ghana right now. Of course, the National Science and Maths Quiz. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners. Joy 99.7.
Oh my God, you're welcome back. This is the AM show. I'm just having a laugh with Mr. Robert Trey. He's the PR manager for Goyle, and he's here to talk about NSMQ. But he did dig in the fact that if I wanted to ask him about fuel prices, well, how are fuel prices doing today?
No, I mean, I know you won't miss the opportunity to ask me this, but surely this morning we went down with our prices. At a great sacrifice as part of measures to cushion consumers. It has been quite very difficult, but we have done our best to be able to do that.
Okay, so how much are you selling it for?
Now, it was 699 last, now it's 685. Okay. 14 pesos reduction.
Wow.
For both products, Super SP 95 and Diesel SP, which is quite significant. It's at a great sacrifice at the expense of our margins. But this is what we can do to be able to at least show to our consumers that at least we can also sacrifice and do that. So that is about that.
That's great stuff. I'll send you an invoice for that from the AM show. Well, that's Mr. Tre. He's a manager, PR manager for GOIL. Also joining us, Ms. Samuel, our very own Samuel Ajo, Associate Client Service Director, Prime Time Limited. And he's always here with us. We're having our NSMQ conversation. So great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
This morning. Okay, so Mr. Tre, let's talk about GOIL's involvement in the NSMQ. I know that you have some specific places or parts that you sponsor and all of that. So do you want to tell us about that? But I think let's start off with why GOIL is even interested in the NSMQ so much.
And I think it may interest many of our viewers to know that for the past 5 years, we have committed ourselves, a part of our social investment strategy, to assist in the sponsorship of National Science and Maths Quiz. Now, all these things it's anchored on our social investment strategy and our corporate responsibility program of investing in 3 things: provision of quality education as part of SDG Goal 4, water provision, and also health and well-being. These are salient things. So our whole gamut of our social investment strategy is based on these 3. And for quality education, you agree with me that for Ghana to be able to forge ahead in development, there's a need for us to harness our quality of our human resource. And what better way to support our upcoming human resource than to support the promotion of STEM education. And this is critical for the future of our country, because if Ghana should develop, we need to take care of the study of math and science. And it's a small way of contributing to the development and enhancing of quality education, and for that matter, science.
Okay. So what are you putting on the table for us this year with the NSMQ?
Over the past years, we have supported Prime Time, and I must say that they have done a yeoman's job over the past years. That's why, for example, last year, the outbreak of COVID-19 and all that, we have put together a package, and the main package is on the GOIL Riddle Bonanza. GOIL Riddle Bonanza specifically rewards schools that come out successfully by answering about 3 or 4 riddles. So these schools are rewarded with cash. So far, up to the quarterfinals level, and then you confirm, about 16 schools have benefited. Key amongst them being some of the ones who have now qualified for the semi-final stage, like Kita, SHS, Tamale, St. Peter's, and my own alma mater, Prep College. So we have, most of these schools have won money. Then beyond that GOIL Riddle Bonanza, we're also putting together, and we have actually put together a package for the quiz mistress. Over the past 2 years, we have been supporting the quiz mistress, the main quiz mistress. That is 1 year sponsorship of fuel. And that one we are going to continue. The other quiz mistresses too, we are also going to do same. We will provide one-time fuel for all of them. And the consultants who help as much as possible to be able to put together the questions, we're also going to support them with fuel. And to top it all, I must say the icing on the cake is the fact that this year we are introducing a very interesting one. The most cheering and active group of the schools. So we are going to reward them. So it's all in an effort to whip up enthusiasm,
of course,
and to whip up interest in the program. I'm sure, Joy, with your coverage, you have seen that most of these past old students have come up to give their schools massive support. And we want to encourage them to continue to do so, because we believe that it's a good program that must be supported. After all, at GOIL, the bulk of our staff there are scientists and mathematicians, the geologists, and all that. And we need many more of these to go to the various. Now you're talking about digital ICT and all that. We need them. So we want to boost somebody would say the vim of all these old students who come massively to give their school support. So the most exciting and cheering school will receive a package from us as part of our sponsorship. So overall, we are committing a lot to that. So the icing on cake is on that one. So quiz mistress, the quiz mistress, the main quiz mistress, and then the girl with the riddle. All this package put together, we are supporting National Science and Maths Quiz.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, I wish I was in the National Science and Maths Quiz myself. So, okay, great stuff. And obviously, you know, it's very good incentives, you know, especially for the schools and all of that. But let me come to you now and talk about the fact that this year, so many of the good or the big names have been kicked out. And so it's almost like the year of the underdog. I mean, there's still, you know, some of the you know, the big names. What do you think has accounted for that sort of switch, you know, from the usual suspects going through to the unusual suspects going through?
Well, good morning once again to our viewers. I must say that over the years, the so-called underdogs have also have that faith, that belief in themselves that, look, at the end of the day, it's all about putting quite an effort, and you can they'll be able to rise up to the level that the stalwart more or less are there. So you do well to prepare themselves, to do well to go into, because at the end of the day, they all write the same exams. They all study the same thing. So it's all about going a little outside of the box or going a step further to prepare yourself. And I believe that when you have that confidence in yourself, when you have that faith, that belief in yourself, you can be able to match up to those and that's what has been happening. That's why we've seen schools like Tamale SJ beating Achimota School, National also being to override Van Spim Canton, beating Apam, and so
Chimu beating
Ogasco, and all those things. So naturally, they are beginning to have that self-belief in themselves that, look, we can make it if we all put in that effort, and that's what's happening now.
I pray for that same vim for the girls' schools.
Yes.
Which, as usual, you know, there are not too many in the semi-finals.
I think Wesley Girls is in. Right?
Yeah, Wesley Girls is in.
Girls,
yeah, but not as many as we would have liked to see.
Exactly. Schools like St. Louis, for instance, they did very well, and they lost with a respectable score. I mean, 51. I mean, naturally, you'd expect that to move on to the next day, but they lost with a 51 points, which shows that at least they are coming up. All we are asking for, like you're saying, is for them to be able to stand out firmly, strongly. I mean, and be able to match it, because I believe they can match them boot for boot. I mean, like I was saying earlier, you all write the same exam.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about you having that feel, that confidence to exert yourself, and I believe they can make inroads in it. Yes.
Okay.
What it also shows that, you know, the gap is bridging, slowly bridging. There are no minnows anymore into the schools.
Yeah.
And all the schools are preparing for this contest. So now people are just wide-eyed, if I should say so, to be and preparing extremely well to be able to match the so-called big schools.
Yes, all right. Well, we're looking forward to today's contest. Big day today, tomorrow. This whole week, actually, is kind of crazy this week. Well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Robert Tre, PR Manager for GOIL, and Mr. Samuel Adjo, Associate Client Service Director for Prime Time Limited. Thank you very much once again. All right, so we're taking a quick break. When we come back, so much more for you. Don't go. Welcome back. And if you're like me or like a lot of Ghanaians, well, then you've been drinking Tampico for a few years now. And so we're going to have a conversation on the exciting flavors that Tampico is offering, an alternative to all those imported drinks that cost us so much and are probably not as healthy. Joining us, Denny. Oh, I'm not going to try and pronounce your surname. Do you want to just do that for me?
Okay, it's Denny Agilore.
Okay, Denny Agilore. He's the marketing manager for Arcadia Industries Limited,
yeah.
producers of Tampico. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Jolly Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm thirsty.
Yes.
I would love a tall glass of ice and any of these interesting juices that you've come up with. So these look like they're new products?
No, they are not new products.
Okay.
Tampico citrus has been in the system for a very long time.
Not Tampico, I mean, but some of the flavors.
Yeah, some of the
like
flavors,
this one,
yes,
which is the multifruita punch.
Of course, the multifruita punch, we're just relaunching it. It's been in the system for a long, but one of the brands that are quite new in the system is the mango.
Okay.
So, yes, but our focus this year is mainly on multifruita, because already we have a good market stead with the citrus already.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we know Tampico as citrus.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So really, you're branching out into different flavors to kind of compete better?
No, it's not actually. I wouldn't say just compete better alone, but it's what the market wants. You know, Tampico is proudly made in Ghana for Ghanaians, so we carry the voice of the household. What the household wants is what we produce. So the multifruita has been something that has been on demand for a very long time.
Okay.
And it appeals to some certain household trend.
Okay.
You know, when I mean household, we have the kids, we have the mothers, the fathers, and all that. And they have their good taste glands and whatever it appeals to them. So multifruita is something that we want to encourage and we want to put outside there.
Okay. So the mango is new.
Yes.
Why mango? Why did you decide on mango?
Like I said, we wanted to give Ghanaians the variety of taste, because when you look at Tampico, you say the discovery of fun is like the variety of taste of life. So once you have a lot of options to taste from, you know, it brings the best out of you.
Okay.
But like I said, mango, it's our new product, but our main key focus for this year is the multifruita.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Arcadia Industries Limited.
Okay, so Arcadia Industries is the privately owned entity. Was set up for the co-packing, manufacturing, and distribution of pet juice and CSDs.
Okay.
And it's been in existence for a very long time. And we actually are the licensed producers of Tampico. Tampico is a multinational brand from US, but we have the license to produce it in Ghana. That's why it's produced in Ghana for Ghanaians, and that's why we say it's proudly made in Ghana.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, well, that sounds interesting. How much are they? Are they affordable?
Yeah, they're quite affordable. You know, Tampico is quite accessible everywhere, depending on the market. Depending on whether you're buying it in a wholesale, you're buying it in a retail, supermarket, and the like, so they all have their price varies. So, but the basic is that it is quite affordable for everybody because, like I said, it covers the household. We have the Tampico which is supposed to be appealing for the kids. You know, you can take it to school, you can take it at lunch, you can take it with dinner, whatever you want to do with the kids, and also with the elderly people too.
Okay, and then obviously these are the two sizes.
Yeah, so we have the small sizes also. We have the 300 ml, we have the 500 ml, and we have the 1 liter.
Okay, so there's a 300 ml.
Yeah, we have the smaller ones. Yes,
for like packed lunches.
Yes,
and
the
stuff
packed lunches and all that. And
okay.
that's a really fast moving because you know, it appeals to the kids a lot.
Yeah, of course, pick it and go. Yeah,
it's easy, and you know, it's quite. You can just put it in your bag, and maybe you just want to have a rest and you want to sip on something. But the core function of Tampico itself is for a fact that it's enriched with vitamin C. So if you realize the major reasons in the past why people associate with Tampico is because of the core function, because it's really enriched in vitamin C.
Okay.
So
in these times where we're being encouraged to drink
exactly,
tasty, flavorful.
Exactly. And most brands these days are now becoming brand conscious. You know, some are re-strategizing. Some are looking at what they can offer to Ghanaians. So it's not just you just having a drink outside there. But you need to think and you need to put the interest of Ghanaians outside there also and appreciate them. And that is what a good, valuable product gives you.
gives you. Okay, so before you go, tell us about the road shows on Tampico Spider-Man.
Okay, so
there's a new promotion that you're running.
Yes. So first is first. Let me cap it off from here. Now, we are the official beverage sponsor of the new Spider-Man movie called Spider-Man Homecoming, which is going to be premiered on December 17th here. So what we are doing is that we have an affiliation with over 52 countries because we are not talking about Ghana alone.
Yeah, of course.
We are talking about other licensed countries also. And what we are doing is that we are affiliating with the Silverbirds and the cinema there, and we are bringing this movie to Ghanaians. So meaning that, you know, the Spider-Man lovers or affiliated kids, exactly. We want to create that opportunity for them also to associate with the Spider-Man tag icon. And also we are using that to associate with also the multi-fruiter. So the tag phrase of our promotion is the Tampico multi-fruiter Spider-Man promotion activities that we are doing. So we are giving free tickets out. And at the same time also our road shows means that we are going to be doing some little bit of floats, and we are bringing the products to them, and we are giving jerseys. As you can see, the jersey I'm wearing, proudly sponsored by Tampico. Irresistible, yes. And I'll tell you something about the irresistible aspect and why it links to the national quiz and all that stuff. So we are bringing all this together, and we want to associate with the various people who are engaged in this activity by giving them some good valuables and free T-shirts, free tickets, and free giveaways, a bag, and all those things for them to win.
Okay, that sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of fun coming up. Looking forward to the free tickets, free goodies, free
obviously,
stuff. And
obviously, we're going to be bringing tickets over here. Exactly, so that you can just give them away, and also have some kind of affiliation also with Tampico.
Well, thank you very much. And also thank you for all the vitamin C that you're making as tasty as possible.
Fantastic.
Okay, and of course, Tampico is in stores and malls and all the container shops. It's very easy accessible.
The nooks and crannies, you can get them there.
Everywhere. So just pop in and grab a bottle, lots of vitamin C. And let's promote Made in Ghana.
It's very important, and that is the irresistible aspect that we were talking about. You know, one of the real functions of why we're sponsoring this activity is because we believe Ghanaian students are irresistible. They are unique. I don't know if you've noticed, but the competition this year is a little bit quite up to tune, because you see those who are not performing for the last year, they are now really performing.
Really into it,
And so every student now every school now wants to be irresistible, like Tampico.
Of course.
And they just want to set their mark and, you know, put their school and the map
name out there.
Outside there, exactly.
And so, unfortunately, we can't say that for both schools that Israeli went to. Nothing we can do about that one. But Wesley Girls is still in the contest. Tomorrow we'll be taking out Tamale and Keta. So watch this space. And if we don't, I'm not coming to work on Wednesday, on Thursday. Yeah, just say.
Personally,
it's today. I thought it was tomorrow, 1 p.m. Oh, okay. So just notice that I may be off work tomorrow. Maybe. But we'll see how that goes. All the best to all the schools. And we're going to take a quick break. Thank you so much, Denny Ajilore, for joining us.
Thank you very much, too.
We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Take care. Bye.
Good morning, you're still here on the AM show, and I've been joined by two gentlemen, KWAME ASHANTI Insia, who's the Director of Estates and Zones at the Ghana Free Zones Authority, and then Ahmed Benis is the Secretary General of ISO. ISO stands for African Economic Zones Organization. Now, Ghana Free Zones Authority is pretty familiar with virtually every one of us, but about ISO, not too many people know about that, so I'd want Mr. Benis to take that up. You tell us about ISO.
Thank you so much for the invitations. I'm very pleased to be here with you among my sisters and brothers from Ghana to share some insight about our organizations and also to promote our event that will take place on Thursday, 25th at the headquarters of the CFTA Secretariat. So Africa Economic Zones Organization is a continental association bringing together leading public and private institutions in charge of economic zones development, its management, and promoting best practices and duplicated good expertise across the continent. So we started these initiatives in 2015 together, with the contribution of 6 economic zones. Tangier Med representing Morocco, the Gabon, Senegal, Cameroon, Tunisia, and today we counted more than 82 members representing 42 African countries. That means that we become mature and in a very short notice, in less than 6 years. Today we cooperate with a large number of international institutions, the African Union Commissions, the CFTA Secretariat, the UNIDO, the UNCTAD, the African Development Bank, the World Trade Organizations. Those are our partners and the institutions that are supporting the development of economic zones across the continent and contributing to the success of the SEZ community across the continent.
What exactly is ISO's role when it comes to economic development on the continent?
We are, I would say, the trigger, the facilitators, and also the representative of the SEZ community, trying as much as we can to support the capacity building activities and also to duplicate the best expertise and promote international standards within the SEZ community in the continent. So we have a very comprehensive set of action plans that supports the SEZ initiatives, and our main objective is to develop the African experience and to develop the African business model that would fit to our context, that would fit to our requirements. Of course, we will get inspired by different benchmark, the Asian one, the European one, and the American one. But the best business model to set for our context is the African that we can build by ourselves.
Ms. Nsia, where does the Ghana Free Zones Authority come in this conversation and what ISO is doing?
Thank you, Israel, for having us today. Yeah, as you are aware, Ghana Free Zones Authority is an investment promotion agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And ISO being the continental body that brings all such agencies together, we feel honored that today we are hosting the ISO 6th Annual Conference in Ghana. By attaching ourselves to ISO, we hope to benefit from their technical expertise, best practices worldwide or African, within the African continent, linkages with the outside world. If you look at the participants to this conference, financial institutions are coming, technical experts are coming, multilaterals are coming, and sister special economic zones managers and operators are coming. So it's a good platform for us to learn from the best practices, especially post-COVID.
All right. Mr. Bennett, what are your expectations and outlook for this 6th annual meeting?
This 6th annual meeting is unique in the sense that first it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid edition, so we will have in-person participant and also 1,000 of participants connected virtually. But we are addressing for this year edition a very, very relevant topics that represent high importance to the SEZ community, which is connecting the SEZ to global value chain at the era of the CFTA implementations. So the topics that we will be addressing together with the international expert that will join the debates will definitely raise awareness about the SEZ development across the continent. It will also provide insights on the opportunities that the African SEZ can capture out of this new wave of global value chain in attracting FDI, in accelerating industrializations. But on the top of that, we definitely believe that the CFTA is a huge opportunity for all African countries, and mainly the SEZ, to expand into new activities and strengthen the relationship between the SEZ communities, building complementarity and the industrial and industrial fit between the different community. And this definitely would is aligned with the objective of the CFTA and would contribute to enhance the regional integrations and, of course, promote intra-African trade.
Are there specific policies that will be tabled at the meeting to connect Africa's economic zones to the global value chain?
Thank you, Israel. Yes. You know, now with the coming to force of the AFTA, and Ghana being lucky to host the headquarters, Ghana stands a lot to gain from this AFTA hosting. So this platform we are talking about, this forum, tends to bring all the stakeholders to Ghana. You know, Ghana Free Zones Authority, our main vision is to make Ghana the gateway to West Africa and beyond. So we will try to see how we can leverage on this bigger aftermarket of 1.3 billion people. You know, Ghana Free Zones Board has already positioned itself to provide accessible land, litigation-free land, which is one of the challenges facing investors. No investor wants to go to a country where there's litigation over land. So we have got land banks in almost every part of Ghana, Tema, Shama, Sekendi, Kumasi, and we're in the process of acquiring more land banks in almost every part of Ghana. And now there's a paradigm shift from the free zone concept that we've been operating. We are now going to do more of special economic zones, which allow non-free zone companies to also locate alongside free zone companies to take advantage of the benefit that may accrue to locating within a zone.
When again is this meeting?
On Thursday.
This Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 2 days away from there. And Mr. Bennis, who's coming for this event?
With regards to the importance of the topics and also the involvement of our partners, this edition is already a success, because we are here in Ghana with our sisters and brothers, with the support of the Ghana Free Zone Authority, with the support of the CFTA Secretariat. So we're expecting international experts. We're expecting also the involvement of international institutions, Pan-African institutions as well. And on the top of that, I think that what is relevant and what is unique in this event is we are addressing a topic that represents major importance to this SEZ community, that contributes to a better livelihood of the African people.
All right, thank you to you both gentlemen for coming into the studio to tell us about the upcoming meeting, ISO meeting, which is taking place on Thursday, as you've heard. And so I've had in the studio in the last few minutes Ahmed Bennis, who's the Secretary General of ISO, African Economic Zones Organization, and then KWAME Ashanti, who's the Director of Estates and Zones at the Ghana Free Zones Authority. You're still here on the AM show.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Show and coming up, the Volta Regional Police is on a search for a man who's suspected to have killed his girlfriend and kept her body in a double-decker fridge at Ho-Fiava. Maxwell Agbagba is joining us live with the very latest. Hello, Maxwell. What do you have to report?
Some say they know the deceased. Some of them also do not know her, and they just came here to commiserate with the landlady, who is currently having interactions with personnel from the Criminal Investigations Department. We don't know what is happening at this point, but the door right now has been cordoned off. It remains a crime scene. That is the building where the incident happened. In fact, we're told that the people who live here in this house where alerted to what was in the room after they sensed a stench emanating from this from one of the rooms here. And we're told that they actually saw houseflies hovering around the doors and the windows, and that raised their suspicion level. So what they did was they forced their way into the room, and when they got into the room, they saw the body of the deceased, who we're told is only known as Lizzie. Some of them say they call her Yevu. They saw her body in the refrigerator. So that is the building, and that is the building where, that is the room where the deceased occupied with the boyfriend. The boyfriend is currently on the run. The Criminal Investigations Department, personnel of the Criminal Investigations Department are currently here interrogating some of the people who are here. We're unable to tell what the discussion is about, but they arrived here not long ago. We'll be speaking to the landlady shortly, but let's have interactions with some of the people here. Let's find out from them what they know about the deceased. Hi, can you, yeah. Your name, sir? Your name, Victor? Yeah. How do you know the deceased? Lizzie, how do you know Lizzie?
For Lizzie, yeah, I never know him, but he can't stay with my sis.
She can't
stay with my sis. They can't rent the house for my sister in there.
Your sister is the landlady?
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of, he just, I don't know like how is it, but I heard of these things where I come this morning.
So when did you hear of the incident?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did the people here know that something like that was in that room?
But I can't tell about that. Yeah.
You can't?
Yeah, I can't tell nothing about that.
Okay. Let's see what is going to happen here. I think they're still trying to force the door open. The door had been cordoned off with another bar. They're trying to open the door. Trying to open the door at this point. Let's find out from this woman. Hello, mommy.
Hi.
Here. What's your name?
My name is Sheila.
Oh, Sheila. Do you live in this house?
No, I'm a neighbor.
You're a neighbor?
Yes, please.
Okay. Tell me, what raised your suspicion that something terrible probably had happened here?
In fact, yesterday I was in my house. You know, my daughter just gave birth to a new baby, so I was saying to her, I just got up and realized that there were many cars, many people around. And I started asking my daughter, oh, wow, there is something happening outside. So let me quickly go out and go and find out what was happening. So the landlady too is my church member, including the kids. So as I got here yesterday, in fact, I got the news. In fact, it was so terrible. Very, very, very sad. Because this guy and the girlfriend used to buy things from my shop. By the roadside there. So they always buy from me. And, you know, when I heard the news, in fact, I was shocked. I was shocked.
What kind of person is the gentleman and then the lady, the suspect and then the deceased? Can you describe them for us?
Well, as I saw them out, I've never seen them as some people who are bad. They don't look like bad people or somebody who can easily kill the girlfriend. You see, they always move quietly. They play their love very well. You know, in fact,
they openly displayed affection.
Yes. So in fact,
they looked like they were happy. They looked like a happy couple.
Shut of voice. Since yesterday, I wasn't myself.
They looked like a happy couple.
Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Wait. Okay, please go. You said what? You think they are twins?
You perceive as if they are twins, because even when they come back from work,
You realize that the guy is in front and the girl trying to jump to back him so that they come to that. So most of the time, everybody
jump behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So most of the times you realize that everybody see them to be happy couples. But of late you realize my mom and I, we eventually go to work very early.
Okay. And your mother is the landlady?
Yes.
Okay.
So she goes to work very early, and I also wake up latest by 7:30. I'm also off. So they leave the house earlier before even my mom. At times 4:35, then they are going to work. So I hardly see them. But when it's weekend, I go to work at weekend 9 o'clock. So I sometimes have interrogations with her.
Yeah.
So I know her. But for the guy, he's a type who doesn't smile. Yep. On a serious note, I hardly see him smile, and at times he chooses to greet or not.
He's an introvert?
Exactly.
Okay.
He chooses to greet you or not. Even the lady in the store, the seamstress, she at times complained to my mom that he hardly greets her in the shop. So
did he act weird sometimes? Do you consider his behavior weird sometimes?
I would say for a week now
So it's a pretty sad story that someone will murder the girlfriend. Well, for now, we're believing that that's what actually happened.
Alleged, yeah.
It's an allegation, but the man is on the run. They're yet to get to apprehend him. But we hope that the police will get to the bottom of this particular story.
Really quickly.
Yeah, very, very sad story. But before we wrap up the show, Joy Prime is inviting you to the 5th edition of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair at the Junction Mall in Barrier from the 2nd to 5th December at 8 a.m. from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. So come witness Ghanaian originality, authenticity, and rich culture as we display Ghanaian inventions, locally made clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry, beads, beauty products, Ghanaian music, and many others.
Well, this year's fair will be packed with lots of activities and many other surprises. So for more information, please contact 055-630-4521 or 024-031-9428. Remember to observe all the COVID-19 protocols when you're visiting the fair. This event is brought to you by Joy Prime, your ultimate experience, and powered by Hits 103.9 FM, sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Go for soya chunks and Kulanu palm soup base, Ghanaian original taste, and Savida Bonure Kente Papa Pafie. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Grow in Ghana and Go with Ghana, Obolo Soap, Oro and Maram Soaps and Antiseptics from Delta Agro Limited.
And the media partners are Joy FM, ADUOMI FM, Empire FM, Inshra FM, and Love FM. Now, as part of the government's directive to ensure that all those attending public events in December are vaccinated, the Multimedia Group and Ghana Health Service, OWUSU Central, will from Monday, 22nd November,
so yesterday till Friday,
November 2021, set up a tent at the Joy FM car park for people to be vaccinated against the COVID-19. Pfizer vaccines will be administered. It will start from 10 a.m. each day. So all those who would like to attend the family party in the park, ADUOMI TV, 9 lessons, and our other events have been encouraged to get vaccinated now.
Yes, absolutely. Get vaccinated now. Save your life and that of others. And that's it for the AM show this morning. My name is Inimo Animado. I've done this with Israel Laye, whose school is out of the NSMQ, whose team is not doing well. The only light in his life is me. So how about we keep shining bright and we do this again tomorrow morning. All the best to the schools competing today. Let's have a fantastic one. All the best to Wesley Girls High School.
The contest is actually starting right away. So and Mapito Sibede will be taking over to anchor the
NSMQ. Yes, all right. Well, stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.